Hello, everybody, and welcome to a community fortress. This fortress was sent in on my Discord by Maltiez, which I'm not totally sure I'm saying their name correctly, so if they could let me know, that would be awesome. They retired this fortress, or are about to retire this fortress due to frame rate problems. I'm going to see if I can assist with finding the issue. But as I normally do with this show, if you would like to send in a fortress for me to have a peek at on this show, please join my Discord. Link is down in the description of this video. And then in the DF Save sharing room, there will be just a room where people are sharing their saves. And if you attach the save in a zip folder, correctly named, of course, with a short description about the fort and a couple of screenshots, let me know that it's okay to use in the video. Then consider your fort submitted. Otherwise, feel free just to share saves or do whatever else you want in there. But if it doesn't specifically state that I can use it in a video, it will be passed over by me. Now, for this particular fort, the Fortress of Bushidol of the site government of Drenched Tires is what it looks like. Of the Pillar of Craters. My brain watches too much Formula 1, and I can't read the word tire without putting a Y in there. But anyway, this particular fortress is supposed to be a tower fortress, with every single piece of it having some sort of access to sunlight, so that it is a very open and obvious fortress. First off, I just want to say I like this setup, the kind of setup of practicing archery by simply having a big old pit that they can access or not access is just really cool, and then they shoot over that. Big fan of that. That's real neat looking. They do state that they have temperature and weather turned off to help with frames, but when I unpause this, it's going to run at about 15 frames a second. Now, my immediate idea as to why this fortress runs bad is when I jump over to the creatures screen. Over here in the others, there is all of these cave swallow people. So they can fly, right? Now, characters that can fly are notoriously bad for pathfinding in Dwarf Fortress. Now, I'm not a big fan of DF hack, but if this fortress would like to be saved, my recommendation would be to copy your Steam install of Dwarf Fortress to a separate install on your desktop or something, install DF hack, and try the exterminate command. Try and just exterminating all of these cave swallow people, because I'd be willing to bet, after going over kind of a layout of this fortress, that might have something to do with it, because there's probably a couple hundred of them in the same area that haven't been exposed, that are just sitting there stealth, flapping around, flapping their wings, and trying to path into the fortress. And that's going to cause some major issues. The second thing is there is also a lot of trading going on up here on the surface in a very small space. So I do wonder if these guys trying to get around each other and having a very limited access to this trade wagon might also cause issues, because wagons do kind of act like walls. So this guy might be trying to path somewhere. I'm not entirely sure with that, but that's another idea. But anyway, let's do a real quick overview of this fort, because I do think the design of it is really neat, and I think it deserves to be shown on this show, regardless of if it gets continued. Kind of the top of the fort up here has these nice little clear glass windows, or these clear glass block floors. And then we have a small farming layer right here. And then as we go down a little bit, there are some cage traps to stop any winged beasts. We have some war dogs sitting here, and then over here on the side, we have this little minecart rail, which is, of course, bringing what appears to be wood back and forth. I think it's wood. No, never mind. It's furniture, not wood. But anyway, it's bringing furniture back and forth via this stockpile. I'm not sure where it's bringing it from and where it's going to. But anyway, regardless, this little ocean here is draining down through this area right here and powering this water wheel, which, using large bodies of water like this for power is also going to be a bit of a drain on your frame rate, just because the game's constantly thinking about this water stuff. And also, this is shallow enough that a dwarf could theoretically path into it, so I would consider covering this whole area here with some sort of walling, just so that it doesn't, cause issues with a dwarf falling in there and drowning. I'm not entirely sure what the purpose of this minecart trail is, aside from just to look really cool, so I'm not going to worry about it too much. And then down here is, a animal mashing pit, from what I can tell. A little dark. As we scroll down, we can see that there is a set of kitchens right here, as well as many what's it called? Infinitely stacking stockpiles here for your, what's the word I'm looking for here? Quantum stockpiling efforts. Down here is some nice alcohol stockpiles, as well as a big old beak dog farm. I don't entirely know the amount of livestock in this fort, but I don't think it's the livestock that's causing issues with the frame rate. I mean, it's not that big. As we scroll down a little bit, we have a tavern called what was it? Top something? Top Tower. That's a good name. Good name. The Foggy Leopard is a temple down here, as well as a dormitory. All these poor dwarves having to live in dormitories. And then the House of Paint, which is a really good name for a hospital. Hold on, what was that thing sleeping there? Oh, it's just a giant blue jay. Wow. All of these big birds flying around as well aren't going to be great for frames. General stockpile, as well as some more storage for various things. Another thing is, if I were to build a fortress in this style, I would have just done a 1x1 tile, because this whole thing could fit in a 1x1 tile, and you'd end up with much better frame rates in a 1x1 tile. We have alcohol storage, and then more foodstuffs, and then just a general crafting area. And then down here is some very fancy spaces for whoever this B01 dwarf is, who is, I see, the Duke of this little fortress. And then as we go down, eventually we get to this, which is just a whole lot of stone kind of stocked down here. And then down here is a kind of platform supports for all this. It looks like there's an aquifer dripping into here, which shouldn't cause too much frame rate problem, I wouldn't think. And then down here we have just kind of the access for those wells, as well as, you know, a syrup barrel of all things. And then down here we got more food storage, and then some wild boars. Not so wild in here anymore. And then down here, as we continue to move down, as you can see, the frame rate is sitting at 15. We are going to just go down into this area. So my big accusations about this fortress for frame rate would be the ocean. And also, I would recommend just loading this up and trying out that exterminate command. Another thing that I would do is I would honestly just dig these out one layer at a time, because with all of these digging out like this, they're constantly deciding which layer to go to. I don't know too much about like the actual digging process itself. I do know that channeling is really hard on frames, at least for me. Like if I channel out a very large layer with like 30 dwarves, it's going to just cram the frame rate down to nothing until the channeling is done. But I don't think in just normal digging does that to quite the same extent. So it's a little bit of a question mark on this one for me. And then over here, there's planned drainage for some stuff. I'm assuming wells, maybe? But there's definitely planned drainage down there. I mean, my initial thing to look into when I was looking at this fort was like, all right, is there anything stuck anywhere? And the only thing that I can come to after looking at this fort for about 20 minutes is it's probably those creatures in the caverns. And then down here at the bottom, we have Midgar, the Forgotten Beast, who's just hanging out. He seems friendly. And then a little bit further, we got some trees, and then more layers, and then future water drainage for power in the future. That's going to go all the way up all of that. And then down in the bottom here, we have a few more layers and, you know, some water down here at the bottom for some reason. I'm not sure why you're just dumping boulders and water into that, but... Then this layer is kind of cool. I love lava reservoirs, and I'm assuming that they're using the semi-molten rock as a method of doing that. But it's kind of hard to tell. Regardless, it looks real nice with the clear glass blocks down here at the bottom, and then, of course, the stair that goes all the way down to the base layer of this. Looks really nice. Big fan of this layout for this fortress in general. I really like the theme of it. I hope that either with a DF hack command or something, you're able to increase the frames a little bit. But that would be my assumption would be blame the cavern critters, because at the very least in my case, using the exterminate command on my current fortress did increase my frames by about 5 to 10. So I would recommend looking into that if frame rates can continue to evade you. Also, I would also consider giving the traders a little bit more space, because that's just very cramped. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you would like to see more videos like it, the playlist is getting ever longer. Once again, if you would like to send in a fortress, jump over to my Discord and go to the DF save sharing room and just copy what everybody else is doing. If you're using a lot of mods, please also include your mods folder, although I've had more luck loading modded saves as of late, so keep that in mind. Lastly, if you would like to support this channel directly, you can of course do that via Patreon or anything else that you're seeing on the screen right now, but I do as of now have a merchandise store which is available, which has some Dwarfy t-shirts, a hoodie, and a Vile Mug of Darkness, which, you know, maybe worth taking a look at if you are so interested. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I hope to see you in the next one.